Alright guys, how's everyone doing? I decided I'm gonna make some guides here on how to DPS his classes, cause I have a couple of alts. I'm gonna start off with talent trees, and then we'll do a part 2, and I'll do DPS rotations, and I'll do different specs, all that good stuff. I normally play arms. I literally went Fury 2 days ago. So, if I'm not the best, feel free to let me know in the comments. Let me know what I'm doing wrong. Let me know any of that good stuff. I won't be going over reforges on any of my characters. And the reason for that, I'll show you here in just a sec, is I'm a little bit poor, so I don't buy gems for my stuff I'm going to replace soon. I can't afford a whole lot of money here. I don't have too much here, so I don't get gems for crappy stuff. But for reforging, I don't do it. There's an add-on, I'll link it. I believe it's called Reforge Lite. When you go to Reforge, it pops up. So let's say I'm a Fury Warrior. You go to... where is Warrior? Warrior, Fury, Titan Script. Then you click Calculate. It will show you what's reforging. You click Show and click Reforge. Stats are going to change for certain classes, such as a Warrior, where you need a lot of hit, and you're never going to get that amount of hit. It'll put you at the special hit cap, which, oh god, probably like 8%, I honestly don't remember. I haven't researched a whole lot about Fury Warrior. Expertise cap is pretty important, and crit up the butt, that's what you want. So, I'll start with talent trees here. For every class, I'll be going through just about every DPS except for Rogue and Warlock, because I personally hate Rogue, and my Warlock isn't 85 yet, it's only like 70. So, you're gonna put 31 in Fury, 2 in Protection, 8 in Arms. I'll go down here and we'll discuss each one and why you're getting it. Blood Craze, it's not needed. It's nice that whenever, you deal damage or take damage, you start regenerating health. And this is just to get 30 points. Because by the time you reach here, if you never put a point in that, you'll be at 29. You can always put that in Die by the Sword, which increases your parry chance by 100% for 4 seconds whenever you're about below 20% health. But I never really used it, so I like this more. It's more healing. It's actually, heal a lot as a Fury Warrior. But you need 3 in Battle Trance. This increases your Bloodthirst, Shield Slam, Mortal Strike. You only really care about your Bloodthirst. And you have a 15% chance to make your next special attack that can cost more than 5 rage, consume no rage. I recommend getting Power Auras. I would increase my DPS if I had Power Auras telling me when that happens, so I could use, I don't know, something free, maybe a slam. But I don't care too much on this character, so I haven't done that yet. You need 2 in Cruelty. This increases the critical strike chance of your Bloodthirst, Mortal Strike, and Shield Slam. Again, just Bloodthirst by 10%. Executioner. Now this is really important because the faster you attack, the more damage you deal. As a warrior, melee is a ton of your damage, especially when you go into Titan's Grip. Melee is a ridiculous amount of damage. So attacking faster when the target's below 20% is crucial, and when we get to the rotation in the next video, I'll explain what you do with that. Booming Voice reduces the cooldown on your Battle Shout and Commanding Shout by 30 seconds, and causes those abilities to generate 10 additional rage. Why that's so important is as a Fury Warrior, you can dump your rage in 2 seconds, easily. Just get rid of it all. And having Battle Shout give you a ton of rage and be on a much shorter cooldown is really, really nice. I did 2 in Rude Interruption. The reason for that is, what else are you going to put it in? I mean, this is useless, Piercing Howl. I mean, I'm not PvPing. And if there is a chance that in a fight I interrupt, and I need to interrupt, well, I'm going to start dealing more damage. You're going to want 3 in Enrage. If you don't put 3 in Enrage, you're doing something wrong here. Because your melee hits have a 9% chance to enrage you, giving you a 12% physical damage bonus for 9 seconds. That's amazing. And it happens quite often. Flurry increases your attack speed by 25% for your next 3 swings after dealing a melee critical strike. Once again, your melee swings deal a ton of damage. The faster you attack, the better off you are. And if you have a ton of crit, that buff is going to be up 90% of the time, so that's a really good one. Death Wish, you have to take it. There's you can't skip it. When activated, you become enraged, increasing your physical damage by 25%. You do a ton of burst damage as a Fury Warrior. When you pop that, you're gonna burst like crazy. And when you pop that, or when you become enraged, you will activate Raging Blow, which is another move. It's a mighty blow that deals 147% weapon damage from both melee weapons, can only be used while enraged. I love this ability, especially when I'm using Titan's Grip. I only use Titan's Grip because who doesn't like to walk around with two enormous weapons and just beating on everything to death? And, I mean, yeah, you hit with both your weapons, so I'm not 100% positive on this, but pretty darn sure Titan's Grip does a lot more damage with Raging Blow. Rampage increases the critical strike chance of all party and raid members within 100 yards by 5%. That's awesome. If you have a Feral Druid, he does the same thing. But it also increases your critical strike chance by an additional 2%. Crit is your best stat. Once you're hit, expertise capped, you go crit. I'll link Reforged Light. That's what I use. It does it for me. This one, it's amazing. It reduces the cooldown on your Death Wish and Recklessness. Recklessness grants your special attacks an additional 50% chance to critically hit, and it increases the damage you take by 20%, but still, you're critting 50% of the time. Well, 50% more, so that's pretty awesome. It's on a shorter cooldown, same with Death Wish, shorter cooldown. Meat Cleaver, now, why this is important is you have absolutely no AoE as a Fury Warrior if you don't spec into this. Like, if you put him if you put him in Die by the Sword, you have no AoE at all. Why it's amazing is you'll cleave, which procs it, which makes it so it starts dealing more damage. So it'll deal 10% more damage for cleave and whirlwind, and then you'll whirlwind. Whirlwind is amazing AoE. It's just that it has a cooldown. Its cooldown is reduced by 6 seconds though if you hit 4 or more targets, but this deals damage with both of your weapons. So it's a ton of AoE because you're attacking with both of your weapons, especially Titan's Grip. Let's see, reduces. You want this one to reduce the cooldown of your Heroic Leap because you don't want to charge. Like right there, I got 30 rage. I pop Battle Stance. I go to 25 rage. You don't want to stance as a Fury Warrior because there's no point. So I mean, you could have like almost full rage there. I pop it, 25 rage. It's a waste. So you don't want to pop it to charge. You want to sit in Berserker stance. So the reason you want a shorter cooldown Heroic Leap is it's your only way of getting to the enemy. So it's pretty darn nice. Blood Surge, your Bloodthirst hits have a 30% chance of making your next slam instant free and deal 20% more damage. It's amazing. Slam does a ton of damage, especially since you're using it on that proc when it's doing more damage. I went into Titan's Grip. You can go into Single-Minded Fury. It's up to you. It doesn't matter. I like Titan's Grip more just because I like walking around with big old weapons. Next I'll move over to the Protection, which is Insight. You're only going to put 2 in this because Deep Wounds is a little bit better since you're critting so much. And you have so much crit anyway, it doesn't really matter. But this increases the critical strike chance of your Heroic Strike, which I'll explain in the next video, which is basically a Rage Dump. And it gives your Heroic Strike criticals a 66% chance to cause the next Heroic Strike to also be a critical. These guaranteed criticals cannot re-trigger the Insight effect. So basically, if you crit with your first Heroic Strike, your next Heroic Strike's a crit. If you crit with your third one, the fourth one's a guaranteed crit. With a 66% chance on that. When Insight procs, it's a guaranteed crit, basically. So that's really nice. Increases the damage of your Mortal Strike, you don't care. Raging Blow, and Slam by 15%. So 15% more damage out of your, main abilities that are dealing damage. And to get lower in the tree, we need 5 points on the top row, so we put 2 more and increased all healing received by 6%. And the effectiveness of your self-healing abilities by 20%. You do a ton of healing as a Fury Warrior. So healing yourself for 20% more, and being healed for 6% more, it makes it so you can survive easily, and healers can have a fun time healing you because you don't really take damage. Your critical strikes, you want 3 in Deep Wounds. For sure 3 in this Deep Wounds. Your critical strikes cause the opponent to bleed, dealing 48% of your melee weapon's average damage over 6 seconds. So, the reason this is so important is you're critting constantly when you hit things, so, I mean, you want it. Like, there, boom, a crit right away. And there's deep wounds, you can see it, I have a little add-on thing that shows me, and it's, you know, pretty good damage. I mean, you'll most likely have almost 100% uptime on fights because of it, so that's a real nice thing to have. We'll pop into Glyphs now. Glyphs are pretty straightforward for a Fury Warrior. You're going to want Bloodthirst, which increases the damage by Bloodthirst by 10%. You're going to want Raging Blow for sure. It increases the critical strike chance of Raging Blow by 5%. And Glyph of Slam increases the critical strike chance of Slam by 5%. There's no other glyphs you can take. Those are the only ones you can take as a Fury Warrior. And then for Minor, I believe, let me see, Major, sorry, you're going to want Glyph of Death Wish. When you pop Death Wish, you take more damage, but I believe it's 20%, just like Recklessness, but you put this on, it doesn't cause you to take more damage. Glyph of Colossus Smash, this is, it doesn't really matter, but I get it, just why not put in a Thunder Armor on the target if nobody else is. And you can get another one, I just haven't bought in any other glyphs. I'd probably go for either, let's see, I would probably go with Victory Rush. I mean, on a fight like Yorsage, if you get a killing blow, you can get Victory Rush, and Victory Rush healing for 50% more, even though it's already healing for 20% more, is pretty nice. A lot of survivability. Bloody Healing, it's not, you don't need it, but I got it just because it's healing. You want free heals. I mean, you never want your healers to just be completely stressed out, you know. Bloody Healing it's free. There's really no other minor glyphs that are super important. I mean, the other ones are kind of dumb. Berserker Rage I would get, because it does generate rage when used. I am on a small server though, and I don't I don't care to go get that stuff because it tends to be expensive, but it's a free move, Berserker Rage, and generating rage while that's active is pretty nice. It also causes you to be enraged, I believe, which, yeah, causes Raging Blow to proc. So yes, this is something you should use as a DPS cooldown. I just never use it because I don't care. So that'll do it for Glyphs and Talents. So remember, I'll link the Reforged Light, and that will show you what your Reforges need to be, and that'll do it for you. That way I don't have to explain it, and that's going to waste a lot of time me explaining it, and it's better to have something do it for you, in my opinion. So, on the next video, I'll hop on these dummies, and I'll show you the DPS rotation. Alright, I'll see you guys then.